Hello, I am a family pastor, John here. I want to talk to you about something significant this week when it comes to how we minister to people, and that is dealing with a potential suicide or a suicidal person. And I say this to you now because it's fresh in my mind. I recently had a friend who lost his brother who took his own life, and that always sets off a series of reactions and it just impacts people more than what we think. And every year at my staff at Freshwater Church, we talk through how to look for signs if someone is suicidal, if they're looking at doing some self-harm. Because it happens to all of us. It happens all over the world, actually. And it does certainly happen in your town, in your community, in your ministry setting. So this is just from me to you, not necessarily scientific, but it's come from my heart and my years in ministry. And I train my staff on this every single year because it helps save lives. So when it comes to preventing someone who is considering taking their life, I've noticed that they don't send me a formal email. They don't call the church. Sometimes they might call the church, but they usually send me a direct text message or they send me a Facebook message. Somehow on social media, they get my attention. And it's usually later at night, it's in the evening, and they'll text something that says like, "Hey, John, I just want you to know how much our friendship has meant to me over the years, how much you matter to me, and I hope I've never offended you in any way, shape, or form." It's kind of like they're trying to just make their final amends. And I know they're not just doing it with me, they're doing it with other people too. They're saying their final goodbyes. And so when someone does that, I always try to call them. I don't care what time of day it is, I will try to call them, video call them, FaceTime them, call them on their cell phone, whatever, to respond to them in that way, because I want to have an actual conversation with them. And sometimes they don't pick up. Other times they'll say, "Hey, I saw you called, sorry I couldn't talk, what's up?" And then I'll try to start a dialogue with them. And oftentimes I'll get a person who says, when I say often, I mean usually 2 or 3 times a year. But someone will send me in this conversation, they'll say, if someone commits suicide, do they go to hell? And theologically speaking, I know the only thing that can send someone to hell is blasphemy of the Holy Spirit, which is rejection of the Holy Spirit. But in those conversations, I always tell people, I really don't know. I don't know. And I say that because I want to put some time in our conversation, and I don't want to give them this assurance that, this is the best choice or the easiest choice. I want to put some time in there so that we can hopefully have further conversation. And when I say I don't know, they usually come back with another comment, and I am able to have a comment for them. I try to get the phone number if I don't have it. I just want to extend the conversation. Then, if someone is still in that state of mind, I'll try to get them to promise me that they'll be fine for the duration, whatever, until we can meet in person. And I found that when people make that promise, they generally keep it. That's to me. I don't know if it's statistically true, but they generally keep it to me. Other times, if people don't tell me where they're at, or if they've taken pills, I will call 911. If I believe that it's an imminent threat, I'll call 911, send them to their house, try to figure out where they live. If I have their whole name, I can just tell the police department. They'll look it up, and we have conversation there. I give them the crisis line. I try to help any way I can. I've gone over to people's houses all times of the day. I've even kicked in people's doors who are suicidal, and I went and dealt with them on scene. I would rather pay for a door and be wrong than fail to kick in their door and be right. And so anything I can do to help that person in that particular moment. So during this season, from November to basically March, there's a window of time when many people struggle with depression, and suicide is rampant, and it's in your church, and it's in your ministry. And we want to do whatever we can at IMF to equip you to deal with these types of scenarios. I'd encourage you to do some looking online, some research online to find some better resources than even what I'm giving you here. But I'm saying this because it's raw, it's fresh, and already this year I've had this conversation with another individual. They're fine now, but they were at the point when they were truly considering self-harm. And more than just a dialogue, it was a plausible threat, but they're doing good now. I want to reassure you of that. And this one that happened recently, I didn't know the person, I know their brother, and I was told after the fact. But certainly it's worth teaching. We've talked through it as a staff team. I've talked through it with my church staff team, and we want to make a difference. Just a little bit of care and a little bit of love. If you just reach out to someone and go that extra mile, you can help save their life. It's important, and we want to equip you to do ministry to the best of your abilities. And if you do get into a situation where you don't know what to do, feel free to reach out to us here at IMF. We'd love to get you the resources that we have. We'd love to coach you through these things. And certainly, we would love to pray with you as you're dealing with some very difficult situations, just like I do in my own church. So may God bless you, strengthen you, and encourage you, and give you wisdom. May the Holy Spirit guide you as you interact with people, oftentimes who are hurting in a significant way. Bye for now.